Hi everyone. We are back with our second video. In this video, we are going to talk about what is the importance of self branding and social selling. There's so many things happening right now on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube. Even we are doing all these things because we also want कि लोग हमें जाने, हमें पहचाने, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं. And all those people who are there in market can also start something like this. They can also go and tell their story. They can also come on our platform and they can share what they are experiencing and why they are doing these things. So I'm not very expert on LinkedIn. I know things about the YouTube, and YouTube also helped me a lot. I have closed so many deals from YouTube, and those all deals were inbound. Now let's start with the one major platform which is very trending right now, which is LinkedIn. So, Dave, what's your take on social selling and self branding on LinkedIn?
Awesome. Firstly, Pratik, this is my favorite topic to talk about. Personal
Yeah.
branding and social selling. And I've been started creating content on LinkedIn, I guess from 2020, but I was very inconsistent. First point.
Hmm.
From 2020, one also I was not so consistent, not seeing results. So as usual, the mind was saying, "Why are you doing this?" So
Yeah.
in 2022, when I started, to understand content creation more, took up some courses, followed people who are doing great in this space, and
Hmm.
thought that I need to be consistent with it. That is the first point of creating a
Yeah.
personal, like in anything, I guess. Like it's basically
Yeah.
you have to be consistent, but it's the difficult part also. So when I started creating content, I made sure that my why is very clear and strong.
Right.
So
Right.
if the viewers right now is thinking, what is my why of creating content? It's simple. I create content mainly focused to SDS and BDS, which is my job also as a media, creating content for them, helping them to navigate in their workplace, and
Hmm.
also helping the newbie SDS who are getting into the SaaS or tech industry to get that knowledge and helping them or guiding them. That's the why to create
Right.
content, and that's how it started also.
Yeah. So, Dave, when you talk about why, there's a one hidden thing with the why, that for whom, right?
Home.
And this is what people, they don't understand that with why, whom is very much important, right? You're creating content and you know your why very well, right? You know that what kind of content you need, why you need to tell the stories, all these things, right? But for whom, your niche should be very clear. When you said
Exactly.
that you're creating content for SDRs, you should be aware that's which kind of SDR. Those SDRs are 10 years experience or 12 experience, or they are freshers. Those
Exactly.
SDR focusing on India market or US market. Those
Right.
SDRs, the smaller niche you will focus, the more accurate followers you will get. One more
Hmm.
thing, when you start posting, when you know your why, first of all, you have to understand your why, right? When we are talking about why means it's not about that you have to do it, right? I have to do it because I need followers. I have to do it because I need sales, my leads and all. It's not why. Why means that what excite you. When we talk
Exactly.
about the
Ah,
consistency, right? If you're not passionate about something and you are doing the sake of doing, you will not continue. You'll stop
exactly.
one day. You
Exactly.
will feel like ki, why I'm doing this, let's leave it. So you have to be very passionate with your why, and you have to keep doing, and you have to know your whom, your niche, the smaller niche group. Then you will create your self brand, and this is what happened with me also.
Right. So talking about why and whom, let me ask you, like, why did you start creating content on YouTube? Because I've been following
Oh,
you for a year now. And why did you start it? Because there was no, I guess, no SaaS content creator in Hindi. So what was your why?
okay, so this is very interesting story. In COVID 2020, I about to lose my job, right? I was not able to get new job. I was trying, and then my brother suggested me do something new, right? Because I was getting frustrated. So he said,
Hmm.
create content on YouTube, right? You have that time I had around 5 years experience. So he said, share your experiences, and I started creating YouTube videos. The thing which I started when I started, I was not aware that I have to create content in SaaS or something like that, right? So I was trying to find my why, right? I was struggling to find my why. I was creating content on travels. I was creating food blogging kind of videos. I was giving tips to how to be formal in front of
Okay.
people and all. communications, all these things. And one day I made one video, what is SaaS? That was very, if you go on my channel, you'll find what is SaaS. That is the most watched videos on my channel. And that is very small, 3 minutes ka video, right? And then I start realizing that people are who are coming on my channel are more interested in learning SaaS. And that there I find my why. That what like there I find my whom, that whom I have to create videos, for whom I have to post all these videos. Then I start posting, and then I removed all those old videos which were, like about something else. And then I made my channel dedicated to SaaS. Now the question was, for which kind of people? Are the people who are going to listen your videos in English or Hindi?
Mm.
Though I had a choice, right? I made a choice very clear that I will create content on Hindi, a Hindi SaaS kind of thing. Cause if you search, you will find a Tamil channel for SaaS. If you
Mm.
search, you'll find a Kannada channel for SaaS, and that is very interesting, right? But you will not find any Hindi SaaS channel, SaaS
Mm.
selling channel, which is available in India. There's so many
Mm.
channels who are creating content in English and all. And then I realized that there are people, because when I started, my communication was not good, right? If I wanted to understand something, I have to understand in Hindi. And that is why I started creating in Hindi and all, right? And again, that is a 2 years struggle. Right now, I have 2,200 followers,
Mm.
subscribers, and those subscribers are dedicated subscribers. My ratio returning viewers is very high, because I have find my new niche, and they are very small group, but they are very dedicated group. And this is what happened. So there are people who have gained 20,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers in just 6 months, or maybe 1 month, or maybe one year. But I never looked at this entire thing like this, right? So even if you're creating any content, maybe it's a LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube, doesn't matter what, how many numbers you have in your follower list. It's all about how many loyal followers you have. Who are the people who admire, who are the people whom you are adding value in their life. So this is
Mm.
also very much important in social selling and in your creating self branding. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we understand is that it's not easy that you can find your why in one day or your 2 days journey, right? It's like it's a continuous process that you test, like what is working, what is not. Like that's the way we test in sales. Like if this email will work or this email will work. So you test, you understand how the audience is interacting with your content, and slowly you will find your why. Like we both have experienced that, right? That's a great input, Pratik. So for I have a like topic about personal branding and social selling. So for me, social selling and personal branding are not both the same. What I feel. A lot
Yeah.
of people might think what he's talking about. So hear me out before like personal branding is what we are doing to create a brand for ourselves. From there, we might it might help as an I'm talking from a SDR or a BDR point of view. It might help us to get visibility. It help us to get in front of our prospects, and it can also help us in our work, that is booking meetings or setting up hitting our targets. But for example, I'll tell you, social selling is not just going to DMs and saying and talking to prospects or pitching them directly. So social selling is a it's a vast topic. Like it starts from creating content. It starts from personal branding actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
It then comes to interacting with your prospects' accounts, what they are posting, having a genuine conversation, and then moving to the DM part where you build a relationship or a rapport, where you talk to them about their problem. And that's how social selling as a whole works. So social selling, I feel, is a long-term process. For example, I will give you a real life example of mine. So I posted something. It was in September or October, where I posted. I got a great response from a prospect through my email, and a lot of people wanted to see what was the email, how I'm getting this replies. In
Right.
that situation, I got connected to a lot of SDRs, BDRs, even SDS managers also.
Yeah.
And I sat with this SDR manager, spoke to him. I didn't pitch. I just helped him with whatever working for me. I built a rapport. I built a relationship with him. After that, I was connecting with him on LinkedIn. He was active. I was active. We were interacting on DMs. And when I saw that, I was behind my target for one meeting, I went to his account. I saw that these are the triggers that can help him. Now, when I reach out to this person, he's not cold anymore. He's a warm person, warm
Yeah,
prospect. So that's the benefit of social selling, which starts from personal branding, but has a lot of process in between. So
yeah.
that's what is my take about these two topics. Do you have anything to add here, like any
Yeah,
stories
yeah.
you?
So Dave, what happened when it's not about only helping or everyone. That is one part, right? I do lots of comment on people, right? You also do lots of comment on people's posts, right? Doesn't matter. It's your client, maybe these are some SDRs, these are some people, sales people out there. There are so many comments I do on a day-to-day basis, and my screen timing is very high. That is a sad part for me, but yeah, somehow it's 9 hours, 10 hours in a day, and most of the time goes on this LinkedIn and Twitter on YouTube.
I
I don't know
believe
what I'm doing in my life, but yeah, this is what I meant. But when I comment on any post, when I comment on, and that those are genuine comments. It's not like, "Oh, good written something," or
ah,
"well shared." No, it's not like that. I read the entire content, I find out the value, and then I comment, right? This is something what I have learned. Oh, and I add my, lines or maybe my thoughts on that comment. When you comment this kind of thing, so people can see that Pratik Pandey had commented on this or something like that, right?
right.
That happened. People don't remember your name.
They
Listen this,
remember.
people don't remember your name, but they remember your profile pic. They always
Yes,
remember your profile pic, right? So when you are commenting and some of your connections seeing that Pratik Pandey have commented on this post, they go, and this is also an interesting fact, so if anything coming on your wall, you might ignore it, but when you are seeing that Pratik Pandey have commented on something, you'll go and you'll check that post, that what is that, that
exactly.
why these people is commenting on this post, right? So when you go for from that reference point, then that person remember my DP, my profile pic, and after certain time, maybe 1 year, 2 years, or 6 months, when I go to their DMs, they will again remember I have seen this picture somewhere. Then they go to my profile and they can relate to my things. And this is what happened. This is how you can do the social selling. So when you are creating content, with that you have to also connect with the people. You have to make posts, right? Right now, what happening? So everyone trying to be, leader. So you're posting a content to become a leader, so people can follow you, right? The person who is commenting in your post, commenting on your post, they are also trying to be leader. They are they are also trying to post. They are also trying to add comments so they can also get noticed by some other people, right? And they forget one thing, that while you trying to be a leader, you also have to get that kind of aura, that kind of skills to help other. It's not
Exactly.
about how many I have seen n numbers of posts where they are getting 200 likes, 500 likes, 700 likes, right? And those content are bullshit, that profile are bullshit, right? These people can get numbers, but they will not get any lead, or they cannot sell anyone from their profile or their post. This is what
Got
happening.
it. So you're talking about the impact right here.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
likes or these are vanity metrics. What is the impact that you're creating, right? And I
right,
totally second that, to be honest, because right now when I'm talking to you in LinkedIn, I have 3,000 plus followers, which is very less, I feel. But what I did last year specifically, I sat with SDS and BDS one on one in Zoom sessions, and I just spoke to them, helped them, learned from them, and I feel that created impact right now.
yeah,
Because right now, when people wants to take guidance, they know that this person is approachable. They won't see कि यार मेरा कितना followers है. They won't judge that.
correct.
They will see what is the impact that I'm creating in the community. And that's where I also feel the same, like what impact that you're creating through your content and through your work also, right? Followers, I feel, is a vanity metric to measure that. Like I have 1,000 followers, 5,000, it doesn't matter. What is the impact that you've created with that 5,000 followers of yours? So that's a great topic that you touched upon. And I also, I have these thoughts about like how impactful are you with your content?
Yeah, and with impactful, you also have to share so many insights, right? That what you have learned. uh,
Exactly.
as we I was we were talking last time, right? That if you have sad story, you can share n numbers of sad story, right? That can gain sympathy. People can go and comment, oh, I'm feeling sorry, or something like that. But that will happen one time or twice or thrice, right? If you have sad story for entire life, you can do it, but then you will not do it so socially. You will just get the followers, that's all. You'll just get the impressions on your post. You'll
Hmm.
just get the likes, that's all. Nothing going to happen. So while you're creating, self brand, you also have to make sure that what you're going to get after creating so many content, what kind of
Hmm.
outcome you want, and you have to
Hmm.
focus on that outcome. So that's what happened. So when I started creating content on LinkedIn, I realized one thing: if I'm not connecting with the people, I'm going to lose these people, right?
Right.
So I mentioned a link in my profile. I have mentioned that link. So whenever anyone book, I go, I talk to them, I have word, add them on LinkedIn, save their number on WhatsApp. I talk to them whenever they text me. I try to reply as much as possible, and that create a long term relation. Today we are sitting and talking just because we had earlier conversation, right? We were
Yes.
approachable by each other, right? And this is
Yes.
what happened. This is what happened, and this you never know when anyone can help you in future. So never think. The My CEO said one line, if you're having meeting, that meeting never going to get waste, right? You will get benefit from that meeting. So as a
Okay.
as a salesperson,
Hmm.
your target should be meeting new peoples and making network, so you will get benefit maybe after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter, but you have to get those connection. And this is what you have to do with the
Right.
social selling. This is what you have to do with self branding while creating content out there on social medias.
Got it. Now, Pratik, imagine I'm just starting out creating content. What should be the mindset who is just starting out to create content on LinkedIn, maybe as an SDR? Let's take that example. As an SDR, I want to create content. What content should I create? What should be my mindset? What's your take on this?
So before starting content, you have to know why you have to create self brand, why you have
Hmm.
to do the social selling, right? So let's take example of fresher. I just passed out from college. Now entire people who just got passed out from colleges or schools, they all are applying for jobs, right? They
Right.
all are going, sending emails, sending CVs, and more or less everything is same education background, everything blah blah blah, same thing, right? But what makes you stand out? What you can do? So for that, every HR goes to your social media's platform. They check your
Hmm.
LinkedIn, they check your maybe Facebook. I have seen HRs checking candidates' Instagram and Facebook, right? And then they figure out that this candidate who is creating content on LinkedIn or maybe talking about things can be a useful because he have shared things which he have learned in internship or maybe while studying or any kind of analysis, whatever it is related to their work or related to something that makes him stand out, right? So for me, if anyone asks me, so I will definitely say that minimum criteria of creating content is written content. You have to create written content. Without that, you cannot go ahead after 3 4 years. Without any kind of creating content, you will not get selected from anywhere. So if you cannot create video content, if you cannot create one or two liners, if you don't want to post photos, just go and write 4 5 lines. Maybe take any kind of content from books, anything. Now, which kind of content you need to create? It's totally depending on what kind of learning you are getting on a day-to-day basis, right?
Hmm.
And that is what is very much important. So if you see some of the good content creator on LinkedIn, I'm not talking about the big names. I'm not talking about Ankur Variko or Gary Vee or something like that. Even the people who have like you, like me, right? We are not sharing the things which is out of the box things. We are sharing things which we are learning on a day-to-day
Yeah,
basis,
exactly.
right? And you, while you're sharing your learnings, you're also telling people that you can learn. There's so many softwares which I have learned from people post. There's so
Hmm.
many
Hmm.
chat GPT. If someone have not posted somewhere, how people
Yes.
will get to know that chat GPT is
Exactly.
very strong, right? So whatever you are learning, whether you are in school, whether you are in college, I know everyone learn one thing every day, right?
Exactly.
So and you have to post it and you have to go and tell them that this is what you have learned. Go write 2 lines, go write 3 lines, but go and tell people that you have learned these things. And this is how anyone can start
Hmm.
posting content and doing self branding.
Absolutely. Great point. Like, express what you have learned.
Yeah.
If to put this, just also talking about personal branding, I'll talk a little about the mindset because I was speaking to a account executive on DM, and he had a great story. I also planning to bring him in this podcast. So he had a great story, and I said, "Bro, why didn't you share this story with your LinkedIn fam?" He said, "Bro, kaun sunega? Who will listen to my story? Who will be interested?" This is same exact mindset that I had when I started, and I gave him a very simple answer to this. Like, even if you don't get one like or zero like, if you get zero likes, zero comment, but if you get 100 impressions, because in LinkedIn, organic content works, written form content works. If you get 10, 100 impressions, leave 100, 50 impressions. That means 50 people have at least viewed your post. Now imagine 50 people standing in front of you physically. That's a lot of people, bro.
Right.
So think like this. Like if we change our mindset, like rather than thinking कौन देखेगा, क्यों देखेगा, why they will see, share, yourself out if you're comfortable doing that, and see the magic happening over the time. Again, here the thing is you have to be consistent and disciplined also.
I have another theory for this.
Yeah.
मेरा वीडियो बहुत ज्यादा हैंग कर रहा है क्या?
हाँ हाँ, थोड़ा मतलब अभी
No, it's okay.
अभी ठीक है.
हाँ. So I have another theory for this. So for me, I don't wanted to post this content for impression or like और किसी को भी सिखाने के लिए, ठीक है? मैं क्या सोचता हूँ that I'm writing diary on my life, ठीक है?
Oh, oh,
the way
interesting.
you the way you write diary, right? You write what happened today, ठीक है? What learnings you did, whom you met, everything. There are so many people who write diaries, right? They don't know why they are writing, but they are writing because it's make them feel good. It's make them to go back in time and see that what they were doing, back in 2019 or 20 or whatever time it was, right? So I'm writing diary in social media, right? So after maybe my great grandchildren will come, right? And they can see, oh, ये प्रतीक थे मेरे दादाजी परदादाजी, and he used to do these things,
ये
right?
करते थे
That
हाँ.
time, yeah, at that time, this kind of content was useful. That time, oh, this is how ChatGPT launched. Now we use it in our home. This is what happened.
हाँ
That time ChatGPT has launched or something like that, right? So this is
हाँ.
why I'm writing. This is why I'm creating content. This is what I'm doing. So I'm writing my
Documentary.
diary on social media. So I'm not sharing for people. I'm not sharing. And the moment you'll realize it that you have to write content, right? You have to post. You have to push yourself to post content on internet. Then you don't care about who is going to watch, because diary को नहीं पढ़ता है हमारा. Even no one going to read that, right? Even you don't want to read diaries कि कोई तुम्हारा पढ़े, but you
Hmm.
have to write it, and you have to put it, you have to go and write every day. This is what happened, and this is why I post. So इसीलिए if you see my contents, they're very weird content. I have shared that how I have failed. I have shared that who are the top people whom I admire. I have shared that how I traveled somewhere. I have shared that what kind of challenges I have faced. I never stick to one thing. I never shared that this is what happening, this is how you
Hmm.
can grow. I have shared that who are the top 5 YouTube channel which I watch. I have shared that what are the books which I read. So all these things, because I'm writing my diary. I don't care about that what is happening and what kind of people going to like it or
Hmm.
not like it. It's just my life and I'm sharing that. That's all.
That's a great mindset to have. I hope a lot of people, think about this and take this learning from you. So yeah, I learned something new today about this. So right now, one thing that I want to talk about is type of content for SDRs. Why I say this? Because one, SDRs can put content about their learnings, about what they're learning, how they struggled or in their life, or and got a job in SDR from a different field. So it's all revolving around their experiences and their learnings, which will attract more SDRs in their content, in their followers. Now, another type of content is SDRs who are selling to different industry leaders, HR, tech leaders, CFOs. Now you have to also understand the industry also. For me, it is easy because when I joined Slintel, I was selling to salespeople. My content was also for salespeople, so my content and the product aligned. Now, what happens if the product that you're selling and your content is not aligned? How do you make sure that you post in a way where you attract SDRs also, and also become a thought leader, maybe not thought leader, someone who is interesting to speak about in your industry also. So when you reach out to HRs or CFOs, whoever you're reaching out through LinkedIn, when they see your LinkedIn profile, they understand that he or she knows what he's talking about the industry.
Right, right.
How
Yeah.
do you how do you differentiate this content? What do you think about this?
So, ये थोड़ा सा interesting है. This is very, very tricky. People might think that you don't know anything, and they can also think that you know lots of things, but you don't
Hmm.
want to share it on platform, right? And that happened with me also. People have misjudged that I don't know things, and they try to explain me, and then I said, yeah, 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 but I do all these things and everything I know from all those things. But one thing, one more major thing which I would definitely like to share that while you are creating self brand, right, while you are putting content out there, the reason is not to make people aware that you know lots of things, you have
Hmm.
learnings. The reason is that you have to make sure that you are in their head.
Exactly. Good point.
So whenever they need, the way it happened with you, right? Whenever anyone needs you, instead of going someone else, they come to you, right?
Exactly.
So if you are able to make sure that people are keep reminding your name, people are able to understand or relate with you. So whenever in future they need something, they can reach out to you. That's all. This is what you have to do. Doesn't matter that you are sharing so many insights, doesn't matter what you are sharing, but you have to make sure that people are seeing you on platform. You are available for them whenever they need. One more thing, I will definitely like to know your thought on this, but there's one more thing. There's so many people out there who are creating content or not creating content. They think they have two lives, personal life
Hmm.
and professional life, right?
Huh.
For me, there's a one life, right?
Mhm.
When you are into boat, you have to sell it out, right? You cannot say, nahi, half of my part will go this way, half of my part will go this way. That's not going to happen. So when we are talking about social selling not only happened on YouTube or LinkedIn, that also
Hmm.
happened on your WhatsApp, that also happened on
Right.
Instagram, that also
Uh,
happened on Facebook. So if you're not connecting with the people on WhatsApp, you're not connecting with the people on Facebook. So I have a huge theory with the WhatsApp. I have shared so many stories about my company Traco, that there
I
are
see.
so many people who have replied on those memes, on those content, on those videos, and I have restarted talking, right? So when I was working, I'm working in this industry from last 7 years, right? There are
Right.
more than 5,000 numbers in my WhatsApp. I cannot reach out to them, or maybe I cannot recall that kisko karna chahiye. But
Uh,
when they are seeing that what kind of content I'm sharing on WhatsApp, they can easily reply, "Hey Pratik, let's have a call. Hey, this is
mhm.
something new which I was needed. This
Mhm.
features looks good. Can we have a demo for this?" And this is what happened. So when you are saying that I have two life, I cannot add people on Instagram, I cannot add people on Facebook, I cannot add my clients on WhatsApp. You hide. So I also share my stories, right? Let me share one very interesting event. So I met with one of my client in 2018 or 17, right? And I joined another organization in 2021, and I revisit him. The moment I revisit him, he said, "I love the way you like your parents and you respect your parents. You are very sensitive for your family, and this is best part. That's why I'm meeting you." So if I had hided him from my family का stories, जो भी मैं
Mhm.
अपने मम्मी पापा के लिए भी डालता हूँ, whatever stories I put for my family, this was not happened, and this is what happened in India. You can sell emotionally to your all of clients, right? And you never know. So be as open as possible, be as personal with your client, and this is how you have to do the social selling, and this is how you have to create your self branding. And cause at the end, you are human and you have to represent yourself.
Exactly. Very good point. So what you said is basically social selling when it comes to social selling, it doesn't confine to LinkedIn. It can be on
Right.
Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. So I want to add this thing to your take also, is that know where your prospects are. If they are on WhatsApp, go to WhatsApp. If they're on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn. If they are on Twitter, you go to Twitter then. So understand where your prospects or your target audience is spending a lot of time. So that is also an important part of social selling also. So yeah, so I actually want to talk about the thing that I started actually, is how a SDR can divide their time. Because For example, right now I started selling to HR leaders. That time I used to not create content. I used to just be there in the DMs. I obviously I didn't get the replies which I wanted. I was very bad at prospecting at that time. So for me, what I feel, there should be a balance of both. A, you're creating content where you're expressing yourself, your journey, your learnings, day-to-day activities, etc. Plus, I'm taking an example of a HR solution and I sell to HR leaders. You have also have to understand what your industry or your industry in the HR is talking about. What are their pain points? How you can solve. So that if you're reaching out to any HR leader on LinkedIn and they come to your profile and they see you're talking about the industry that they are part of, he or she will think this is an interesting person to have a conversation with. If you don't do that, they will think it's just another salesperson trying to sell me something. People like to have conversation rather than selling. Also, one great thing I saw this week on LinkedIn, then LinkedIn is a social media platform, not a selling platform. It was said by someone I can't recall the name right now, but I saw that and it was so strong. The line, like social media platform, you have to take it in that way. It's not a selling platform. And social selling doesn't mean that you are
Yeah.
just, nudging them in the DMs. It is a very
Yeah.
long process. So that's what I think, that when you start creating content for people who are not salespeople, other departments, that's how distinguish your content. Like make a plan, learn about the industry that you're selling, put your point of view. I know someone who does really great in this field actually. She actually talks about a lot about marketing tactics, marketing jargons, which are important to marketing leaders,
Right.
and she's doing really great. So that's how you dissect your content between your industry and your work. If you're not selling to salespeople, because if you're selling to salespeople, वो easy हो जाता है थोड़ा, because you can incline your like product, which I have done obviously. But yeah, but if you're not, because I was thinking that ठीक है sales people को तो I can do it because I am
You know your
SDR.
pain. That's why they buy
I
from
know
you.
my pain, ठीक है. But if I'm going to different industry, I mean I'm a SDR selling in cyber security, for example. मेरे को तो
Right.
समझ में आई हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि यार साइबर सिक्योरिटी होता क्या है, उसमें क्या चीज इज अ पेन पॉइंट, क्या चीज पीपल टॉक अबाउट. So that is also very important that you also put your point of view there.
Yeah. And one more thing, you cannot sell everyone, but you can educate everyone.
That's a good point, very good point. You not sell everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's so many people who always try to sell. And the best part about social selling that you don't have to sell, you have to educate people. You have to
Ah,
understand that you are doing social selling for not just selling. You have to educating those people. You have to educate them. You have to be educator to become a social seller. This is what you have to understand. And this is where the entire game start. The moment you understand, again, if you go back with our starting point, that the moment you understand that whatever you are learning and you are sharing your learnings, that means you are also making sure that other people also learn all those things whatever you have learned, and this is how you are educating. So
hmm.
while learning you are student, while sharing your learnings you are educator,
Ah, awesome. That's a
and this
great
is the
point.
journey which you have to fulfill. This
Hey,
is the journey which you have to travel,
travel,
and this is
right?
what happened.
Awesome. Pratik, I want to ask you this question. When we are talking about social selling, I'm sure you have got this thing a lot. That what's your take on pitch slapping? I know you have got a lot of pitch slap on your DMs, right? मेरा product ले लो. So what's your take
Yeah.
on that? Like, is pitch slapping right way to do it? Is pitch slapping not a good tactics, to start? What is your take on this?
So if you are doing this in 2018, 19, this is the best way. Okay.
Mm,
But if you're doing it in 2023, you will not get reply. You will not
mm,
get reply because no one have time right now to read your entire message and reply. Uh, they don't. Why they will reply you, man? Like, who are you? You are not Elon Musk, right?
mm,
Who are you? औकात क्या है तुम्हारी कि वो तुम्हें reply देगा, right? There's so many people who just ping me and I don't reply because they're not important to me. If I get some kind of reference, if I get some kind of validation, then I definitely reply. So the first thing, if you're doing this kind of thing, you're just going and pitching that, hey, this is what we are offering and all and all and all. You have to make sure that they desperately need your solution.
Uh,
If they desperately need your solution, they will run behind you and they will say, ki, haan, demo kar lete hain, whatever you want, we can have it and all right. But if they don't need,
they
if you're
won't
not
come.
able to generate the need, they are not going to reply you. They are going to ignore you. Now, what is the best way to do it? That what I do. So whenever I get new connection, so let's say if I connected with you right now, right? The moment you confirm and connect with me, I go to your connection and I see that who are the people who you are connected with, who are the strong leaders whom you are connected with, and I try
Oh.
to connect with them, right?
Hmm.
And when I try to connect with them, right? So what happened when you go and send a DM to any people, right? Before reading, before replying, they check your profile, right?
Yes.
Most of the time, and they see whom you are connected with. What is the number of mutual connections? If it's high, maybe 50, 100, 200, or 10, 20, they will somehow, your chances of getting reply is high. So it's important when you're connecting with your prospect, connect with his, connections also, or her
Right.
connections also.
That's
What,
a good.
how you do it? How you do it, right? Like what's your take?
Yeah. So for me, when it comes to LinkedIn DMs, right, I want to make it conversational, where I am talking to a person, not with no agenda to sell,
Yeah,
right?
no,
I've
not a
done.
chat GPT. I'm not a chat GPT.
Yeah. So I've done this, right? I have spoken to a lot of SDS BDRs and I've closed meetings without the intention of getting the meeting, but I've closed the
Oh,
meetings. So how I did this is I first of all I made my account in a way where I'm approachable. First step, I created
yeah,
content. When they connected with me, they saw it's a interesting profile. Then it is a very basic when I started like, hey, thanks for connecting. And then I put a question which is about them. Now, what type of question can I ask? If they're posting content on LinkedIn, great. Talk about their content. If they're
yeah,
not posting, uh, talk about the responsibilities or the jobs, they're the job that is they're currently doing. Maybe, for example, I'll give an example here. Maybe someone shifted from an commercial media to enterprise media. There will be a lot of change from a commercial
right.
media to enterprise. So ask them about their struggles or their learnings from a shift from a commercial to enterprise. Another example, if someone has changed, like earlier they used to sell to sales leaders, now they are selling to HR leaders. Ask them. Earlier you used to used to sell to sales leaders. Now I see you are selling to HR leaders. How is this shift working for you? What is your take? It's about them. Ask a question about them. That's how you start a conversation. I have done that. Right. The moment I know that the conversation has started, I always make sure that the person who is just other side of that conversation is interested to reply to me, because a lot of
Yeah,
times
yeah,
what happens, these people are busy folks, even SDS and
true.
BDS, or everyone is busy, right? It might happen that you might lose them.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
try to make them that it is interesting. In fact, even if you lose them, you again come back with a follow up. Hey, did my last question resonate with you? You have to do these things and ask them questions which are regarding their pain points, their work, their experience. And if you see then that your solution aligns with their problem, then you talk about it, but in a very subtle way.
one very interesting thing which I realized while you are sharing your experience. I
Mhm.
have read this somewhere that in this entire world,
Mhm.
everyone wanted to become a speaker. No one wanted
Mhm.
to become a listener, right?
Okay.
So give an opportunity to your clients to become a speaker.
Oh
Ask
yeah.
them, right? Ask them what kind of thing they wanted to share. They will,
Hmm.
if I ask you, hey, how's life is going and what you're learning new, you will suddenly get excited and like, hey, Pratik, yaar, main ye pad raha hu. This is what is happening. This is what I'm doing. And this is very interesting and all. And I'll listen you calmly. I'll listen you. I'll put one more good question that, oh, ye सीखा, इसमें ये कैसे हो सकता है? Right?
हाँ.
Then you again feel like, yaar, फिर से opportunity मिल रही है, फिर से मुझे बोलना है. And this is what happened. So asking good questions, that is again a very good skill, and
Exactly.
giving opportunity to become a speaker to the people. That is also a very good way to get, more replies on DMs. So this is
That's
very much
interesting.
important while you are.
Yeah, make your prospects a speaker. Wow.
Yeah.
I- I'll tell you one funny thing happened with me. It was like few months earlier. So I got this DM from an SDR, and he wrote a very nice personalized message, like in the connection request. It took my attention, grabbed my attention. I connected with him, and I replied. Unfortunately, the second message was a pitch.
Oh.
So so he started with something like this. Hey, I saw you commenting on this post. What's your take on? He was selling some video platform, and I was kind of interested. कुछ ना होता
हाँ.
तो फ्री ट्रायल ले लेता मैं. ठीक है.
हाँ.
What's your take on video, something like that? I replied, and the
Hmm.
next moment, without even thinking that इसका pain point है कि नहीं, because I haven't expressed my pain point till now. He just said,
Right.
hey,
Right.
our platform does this. And I'm, shit, why did you do this? And I
फिर
spoke to him.
तोड़ दिया.
I'm like, why did you? You're doing great. Why? And I spoke to him and said, you could have done this in this way. This is how you should have continued the conversation. Because the moment you said I understood that it's a pitch coming. It's not a conversation happening.
Right.
An interesting story. And it's a very funny story. So one of my competitor pitched me. And it was the on first message, like, hey, I see your SDR, our solution does this. That my reply was, I hope you know that we are a competitors of yours. This is what people does also. Like they pitch, they don't even see, they would even check the background to whom we are talking or something.
Oh.
And
You
they
know,
just pitch.
when one funny story happened with me when I was starting, so it was back in 2000, maybe 17 or 16, something like that. So I had a very standard messages LinkedIn के लिए, ठीक है? Hey, Dave, I'm Pratik.
Mhm.
I'm sending this message from this is what we do. Looking forward to your reply and having demo and all, ठीक है? मैं सेम मैसेज कॉपी करता था, पेस्ट करता
हाँ.
था, सिर्फ ऊपर का हे देव की जगह हे प्रतीक और
हाँ,
समथिंग लाइक
हाँ,
दैट, ठीक है?
हाँ, हाँ.
व्हाट आई डिड, आई डोंट नो मुझे क्या हुआ था, मैंने हे अमित एंड उसके नीचे वापस हे देव करके 15-20 लोगों को भेज दिया, ठीक है? एंड वन पर्सन रिप्लाइड, प्रतीक, दिस इज वेरी गुड सोल्यूशन, वी कैन हैव डेमो, बट आई एम नॉट अमित, नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू आर सेंडिंग मैसेज मेक श्योर दैट यू आर एडिटिंग द नेम. आई वाज लाइक शिट फक.
ये क्या
अब
हो
मैं डेमो भी किस मुंह से दूं?
गया?
मैं कैसे डेमो दूं? मैं क्या बोलूं कि यार क्या हुआ था, कैसे हुआ था, क्यों हुआ था? एंड
ये
दैट वाज वेरी लाइक बहुत गंदा फील हुआ था मुझे. आई वाज लाइक कि आई हैव टू वर्क ऑन दिस, आई हैव टू वर्क, एंड दिस इज व्हाट हैपनिंग राइट नाउ. अभी भी लोग कर रहे हैं ये, एंड दिस इज वेरी वेरी सो वी डिडंट हैव चैनल लाइक पीपल ऑफ सेल्स, तो हमको पता
या
नहीं चल रहा था बैक
बट
देन.
अभी चलेगा तो व्हाई नॉट. So yeah, and so I feel holding up a conversation is very important as a salesperson,
या.
especially when you're doing outbound, where the person in front of you doesn't know you. How do you ask good questions? Which is also important in cold call skill, which we'll talk later in our channel. But in DMs, it is very important that you do the background check. Look what that person has done. How can you ask questions that is interesting to them?
लुक फॉर द
And
नेम आल्सो.
yes. So this is very important. And another, I think this is a lot of people are thinking like बात कर लिया हम लोग पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग ऐसे स्टार्ट करें वैसे स्टार्ट करें बेनिफिट क्या है भाई इसका व्हाट्स द
हाँ.
बेनिफिट ऑफ डूइंग पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग बोलिए
So, for me, let me share a cute story about my CEO. ठीक है, my CEO Gagan Chaturvedi, right? He's gem of a person. He's very, very good with sales skill. He's very good with handling people. He's very good. So I've never seen him, uh, उनका enthusiasm ऐसा है ना कि the moment he entered in any meeting, I know that this client is going to close. That is for sure, right? And how he introduced me, anytime when we are meeting with someone, he said, "This is Pratik, and he is heading the sales and all. And he is a content creator. He have his own YouTube channel, right?"
अच्छा.
I never seen anyone. I never seen in my life that anyone can introduce someone with some other kind of stuff. कि ये YouTube पे and LinkedIn. And one day, one of our client was visiting in our office, and My CEO and that client was talking that Pratik creates so many content on LinkedIn. मैं पढ़ता हूँ और इतने बड़े बड़े होते हैं, sometimes तो मैं आधा ही पढ़ता हूँ पर बहुत interesting होते हैं, right?
हाँ
And
हाँ
this is what the benefit is when you are creating lots of content, when you are doing social selling, when you are when you have your own self branding, you will never look back to validate yourself. People will you will get the validation from people that how you are doing in life. And as I mentioned that I write my diary, right? So I also share my bad part, I also share that how where I'm struggling, and
exactly.
people definitely know that this is something which is not going good in your life, this is something which is not happening. And they will also offer you help. They will also go and say, they will also come and say कि hey Pratik, I saw that ये सही नहीं चल रहा है, तो क्या हो रहा है, how you are feeling, are you feeling good or not? And this happened with my team. There are people who called me and said like, I saw that you have shared a sad content, क्या हो गया, don't get upset, sales will happen, people will
Yeah.
come. And this is what happened. And the most important, if you are fresher, you never
Hmm.
have to struggle with job.
Right, right, right. Visibility.
Yeah, so as if you take example of Dev, right? I'll definitely ask Dev कि क्या वो उसका क्या thought है कि क्या benefit है. But what I feel for Dev, that the moment he started creating content, right? The moment you started creating content, and the moment you have gained so many likes, averagely ज़्यादा है लोगों से, ठीक है? I guess if you see your LinkedIn index, social selling index, you will be on top 1% maybe, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
When you will be in top 5% or top 1% in your industry, people will follow you, and then you will be a trendsetter. Then
Right.
you can just like Babo Sanity, you can start your growth school.
Mhm.
Right, from creating content on LinkedIn to creating your own startup, so you will get an extra validation in your life. You'll get extra add-on ability to do things which no one trying to do, क्योंकि लोगों को पता है उनमें ये भी guts नहीं है. There are people who are not posting anything. At least you are
Mhm.
posting, you are sharing your selfies, but post तो कर रहे हो आप.
Right, right.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what benefit that I got. First, that visibility. More visibility means more opportunities. That's
Right.
it. So that is first part. Second, obviously, it if it helps me in, I'm telling this specifically for me, it helps me to hit my targets. A lot of time, I have seen prospect coming to my DM and saying that I want a demo. It helps me to hit targets. It helps me to connect with a lot of interesting people in my community. I have connected with you because we both share content. That's why we got to know each other, and that's why we connected. And the same way I connected to a lot of people right now.
Right.
I've made friends. And the last thing is, you know, and this is a long-term process that which I'm telling you right now. Uh, Recently, like in last November, I became a brand ambassador of a tool which is name is TRELLUS. So it's a cold call coaching tool, and the founder actually reached out to me. Why? Because I was visible on LinkedIn. The founder
Right.
reached out to me. I used the tool. I saw that it clearly helps SDRs and BDRs in cold calling, while cold calling, coaching them. I used it personally. And then I saw that it's something that, I would love to, tell more people.
Right.
So that's how, all these things actually help me because of personal branding, sharing content. So just quick plugging here, if you don't mind, Pratik, that about Trellis, it will be there in the description. A quick about Trellis is they help SDRs and BDRs with their cold call sessions, with coaching them. And you can understand Trellis as a friend who is helping you, sitting right beside you, helping you during your cold calls with objection handling, live transcript of your calls, etc., etc. If you want to know more, ping me. I'll tell you more about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
apart from that, it actually gave me a lot of opportunities to connect with industry leaders, peers, new learnings, finding new people. And this didn't happen from day one. This happened after 1 year, 2 year of creating content. And that's the journey that I want to be in. That makes
Right.
you stand. So yeah,
Right.
that's the benefit that I got.
Yeah, and we have talked lots of things about social selling and self branding. One major thing which you have to understand, it's a long term process. It's not a
Right.
1 day game, right? It's not a 2 day or maybe 1 week or 6 month, right? And one more thing, and this is the bad thing about being available all the time, that the quickly people start following you, the quickly they will stop following you, right?
And
So if you stop creating content for maybe 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, and you think like, yaar wapas kar lenge, you will be replaced by someone else. They will
mm,
start liking someone else, right? And you have to be consistent, and you have to think that you are going to create this contents, this kind of post, this kind of videos for minimum 3 to 4 years. Then you will start seeing some kind of good opportunities coming in your way. And this is what happened when you go for long term commitment. It's just like dating a most beautiful girl in your college. You
mm.
have to be consistent कि
चलो
भाई छह
पीछे
बजे मैं
पड़े
घर आ रहा हूँ, मैं पीछे पड़ा रहूंगा. I want her. It's just like that. It's
ओके
just like that. You need a very smart boy like Dave who has six pack. उसके पीछे पड़ा रहना
नहीं ऐसे
पड़ेगा.
मत बोलो
You
भाई क्या but all do it in a way that you make that person impress. It's
right,
can be the beautiful girl that you want to date or the prospect that you want the meeting. That's it. One last thing before we end this topic and the podcast here about consistency. So a lot of people think consistency means posting daily content. For me, no. For me, I'll define my consistency. Right now, for me, consistency is putting 3 posts per week, and I want to stick to that. That is my consistency, which I have made, keeping in mind about my other responsibilities too. For you can be 4, for me can be 3, for someone can be 2 posts per day or per week. Define your consistency and stick to it. Then slowly upgrade yourself. That's it. What do you think about it?
so for me, consistency is putting a content which is better than last one. The moment you'll
Okay.
get that content, put it out. ठीक है.
Awesome.
So this can be, see, this consistency can be differ for people to people, and you have to define, as you mentioned, you have to decide that what kind of content and at what time you're going to post. So if I posted a content related to, let's take an example of this tool, sales tool, right? Uh, that is good tool. The moment I realized that I learned something new, or maybe something happened good, which is better than last post, I put it there. Doesn't
Right.
matter. Subah, Sam, Sunday, Monday, doesn't matter. I go and put it there. I have suffered with the impression, because sometimes I get lots of impressions. Sometimes due to I have posted at 1 o'clock in middle of night, so लोगों ने
Hmm.
देखा ही नहीं, ignore कर दिया. But doesn't matter. कोई तो
Hmm.
देखा होगा. वो
हाँ
डायरी तो
हाँ
बन रही है.
बन
किसी दिन
रही
मैं
है
भी कोई किताब लिखूंगा, वो सारे कंटेंट निकाल के लिख दूंगा.
सही है
Right. So you have to understand at what your capabilities and what kind of consistency you are going to maintain. That's all. That's all. So before ending this podcast, let's recap 3 4 points which I have shared, which they have shared, and this is going to help you while creating your self branding and while doing the social selling. The first thing, you have to share. Start sharing first of all. Start creating content. This is the minimum requirement which you have to do for standing out in front of all the people, in front of all the applicants which are going to apply for jobs. Second, start sharing your learnings, whatever you learn on a day-to-day basis. Third, go and tell your stories or maybe write diaries, right?
Hmm.
Fourth, connect on all platform, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, sab jagah. And most important, while doing the social selling, don't try to sell, try to educate them. That's all, and engage them with the conversation, right?
Exactly. One last point to add to this: understand your why of creating content. That's it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and for whom?
And for whom? Why and whom? That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
So
all right, guys, ये था आज का topic, social selling and how you can create self branding, and we are going to cover lots of this kind of conversation. We are going to have lots of conversation like this and all. We have list of topics जो हम बना चुके हैं already, and बहुत सारे लोग आने वाले हैं. So if you are new on this channel, please वो जो बटन है उसको सब्सक्राइब करो, and सपा 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 सब्सक्राइब करो. And
नहीं
share with your friends. And LinkedIn पे अगर कंटेंट बना के लिख दिया about this video कि what you have learned from this video, तो you will start creating content. So इस वीडियो से जो सीखा उसी को कंटेंट बना के लिख दो
हम
यार,
लोग को
क्या
भी
है.
टैग करो
और हमें भी टैग करो. That
and
will
if you
help
have
your
any
profile to get.
yeah and if you have
Yeah.
any questions regarding this topic, put it in the comments. We'll be there to help you out.
Yes. Take care. Bye bye. Sayonara.
Hi guys.